Okay, we can now begin talking about the myths for this week. It's very important that you read not only the myth itself, but also the introduction as well. The introduction will give you background on the culture and some information on the characters in the myth. And I'm going to assume you've read these, and I'm going to tailor my discussion accordingly. So let's begin with the first myth, the Enuma Elish. The Enuma Elish is a Babylonian or a Mesopotamian myth, and it's a creation myth recounting the struggle between cosmic order and chaos. It's basically a myth of the cycle of seasons. It's named after its opening words, which translate means when on high. And this myth tells us that at the beginning, the universe consisted of undifferentiated watery mass with two basic elements. First is the fresh water, which is the male principle known as Apsu, and the salt waters, the female principles known as Tiamat. From these two original deities, all the other gods were born. The gods were so rowdy that their parents decided to destroy them, and that's what this myth then is about. The Enuma Elish was recited on the fourth day of the ancient Babylonian New Year's festival. The basic story exists in various forms throughout the area. This version that you're going to read was originally written in Akkadian, which was an old Babylonian dialect, and it stars Marduk, the patron deity of the city of Babylon. This version was written sometime in the 10th century BC in cuneiform on 7 clay tablets. They were not found until the middle of the 19th century in the ruins of the palace of Ashurbanipal in Nineveh. George Smith first published these texts in 1876, and he called them the Chaldean Genesis. Now, because of many parallels with the Genesis account in the Bible, some historians concluded that the Genesis account was simply a rewriting of the Babylonian story. Many, including myself, who wanted to maintain the uniqueness of the Bible, argued that although there are parallels between the accounts, it's because the stories talk about the same event, with the Bible giving the true account. At the end of your lecture, I give a website if you would like to look into that any further. Now notice that this myth begins with a description of what existed in the beginning. Most, but not all, creation myths start this way and then proceed to explain what was created, how it was created, why it was created, though often these are covered only to varying degrees. Commonly, creation myths say that before the world was created, there was water or chaos, as in Greek mythology, or darkness, nothingness, as in the Bible. The Bible uses the Hebrew words tohu and wabohu to describe a watery, formless, empty, and dark condition for the planet that would not be populated with life for 3.86 billion years. Creation myths then set up the first gods and explain the genealogy of the gods. This serves two purposes. First, it lets us know how the gods are related, and secondly, how most of them came to be. We're expected to accept the fact that some gods simply have always existed, unless the myth says otherwise. In this case, we are told they usually, quote, formed within the sweet waters. Sweet was at one time a way to refer to water that was safe to drink, thus capable of sustaining and giving life. Another important thing to notice is the characterization of the gods. Like the Greek and Roman gods with which you may be familiar, these Babylonian gods have very distinct human personalities. They are exaggerated versions of the people that you would see around you. They have wants and desires. They go through mood swings. They react to situations the way we do. They're just simply more powerful than we are. In most cultures, this occurs as a way of explaining the inconsistencies and the unpredictability of life. In most cultures, this occurs as a way of explaining all the unpredictable things that happen around us. Because of their unpredictable personalities, we encounter unpredictable events. For example, the weather is not predictable. Food supply is not predictable. Disease is not predictable. And everything around us then is unpredictable because that is the way the gods operate their lives. Now at the end of this epic that you will read, you'll see that the gods build Babylon, which is modern-day Iraq. If you would now please return to your lecture readings.